Right, good morning to you all. Bore da, assembly for the 13th of January 2021, and I hope you are all enjoying your work at home. And I was really pleased to hear today that people are getting up earlier, especially some of the older ones, getting in for their live check ins with Mrs. Lowe, and really enjoying. And I hope that all of you are getting up ready for 9 o'clock for the assembly. Parents, if children are not and you need a little bit of a hand, just give me a ring and I can speak to them to make sure that they're getting out of bed in the morning. Very, very important. I did notice that the views on the assemblies are going down somewhat and not as many children watching over the last couple of days. So make sure you're up, make sure you're watching and enjoy the assembly. And this morning's assembly is about bullying. And as it says here, that at times when both adults and children can be far too quick to pass a judgment or jump to the wrong conclusion. And I think we've all done that at some point. It's almost impossible to tell what someone is like just by their looks. There's a saying, isn't there? Never judge a book by its cover. There are occasions when people are bullied or picked on just because they are different in some way. I don't think I've ever done that. But I certainly might have jumped to a conclusion or two in the past. The little girl in today's story seemed to be different from her classmates, and as a result, she was treated badly. It was only when one of her tormentors was in trouble that the girl's true character was discovered. "You're not playing with us," snapped Nafisa, shouting straight into Nadia's face. "Go and find someone as scruffy as yourself to play with." "Yeah, we don't want you," agreed Isabella. "Push off and find your own friends." That was the problem. Nadia didn't have any friends. She had moved to Mela Street Primary School and she had found it difficult to settle in. She knew she was different from the other children. Their school uniforms always seemed fresh and new, and they always seemed to have the latest fashion accessories. They talked about the latest music or computer games they had bought, or the latest film they had seen at the local cinema. Nadia didn't own a computer, and she couldn't even remember the last time she had visited the cinema. It had been so different at her last school, before her mother had fallen ill and been forced to give up work. Nadia leaned back against the playground wall and wished she could turn back the clock. "Oh, don't stand there, stupid," yelled Mohammed. "You're right in the middle of the goal. Move out of the way." Head down, Nadia trudged across the schoolyard and took shelter in the doorway. She hated playtimes. At least when she was in class, the other children couldn't make fun of her or call her names. Later that afternoon, Miss Begum, the class teacher, asked the children to organise themselves into twos for a drama lesson. Nadia watched and waited in embarrassment as the other children in the class sorted themselves into pairs. "Can we work in a three, miss?" asked Nafisa. She had linked arms with Isabella and Samaya. "There's no need to work in a three," replied Miss Begum. "Nadia is still on her own. One of you move across and work with Nadia." The three girls pulled faces. "I'm not going," growled Nafisa, edging further away. "It'll have to be one of you two." Reluctantly, Isabella let go of Samaya's arm and went to work with Nadia. "Thanks," said Nadia, giving Isabella a friendly smile. "Oh, it's not out of choice," snapped Isabella. "You were the only one left." Nadia was always pleased when the weekend arrived. It meant she didn't have to go to school and face her bullies. Since her mum had been ill, Nadia had to help with the chores around the house. She would make the beds, dust and clean and generally tidy up. Her mum was getting better now. She could walk around the house, but she still needed a wheelchair if she went outside. It was Saturday afternoon. Nadia had finished her jobs and she was determined to go for a walk in the park. Once Mum was comfortable in her chair, Nadia put a blanket over her knees and they set off towards Victoria Park. It was cold with a sharp wind, but the wet sun was shining, and like her mum, Nadia was well wrapped up. "You're getting out and about, isn't it?" I said. "It's important. No matter what the weather is, get out and get some fresh air." They stopped near the children's playground. Nadia recognised the girls immediately. There was Nafisa showing off on the roundabout, and surely that was Isabella and Samaya whizzing her around. Nadia sat on a park bench next to her mum's wheelchair, and she wished she could join in with the girls. "Look who it is!" shouted Isabella, pointing towards the park bench. "It's Scruffy Nadia with her mum." "What did she say?" asked Nadia's mum, horrified. "Oh, it doesn't matter," replied Nadia quietly. The girls whizzed the roundabout faster. Nafisa was beginning to feel dizzy. "What's she doing here?" shouted Isabella. "We see enough of her at school." "Let me off," groaned Nafisa, clinging to the spinning roundabout for all she was worth. "I don't feel well." "Catch us if you can," screamed Samaya, and she gave a final push before she ran off with Isabella, pulling a face at Nadia as she left. "They are horrible," said Nadia's mum. She was obviously upset by the girls' behaviour. "Why didn't you tell me the girls at your new school were being so nasty to you?" But Nadia didn't reply. Her eyes were glued to the spinning roundabout, and as she watched, she saw Nafisa lurch forward with a scream. She was thrown into the air, and she landed with a crash on the gravel patch. She immediately yelled with pain and clutched her leg. "I'll see if she's all right," said Nadia, and she set off in Nafisa's direction. Nafisa was clutching her leg and moaning. Her right arm was badly grazed, and there was a deep cut above her knee. "It's okay," said Nadia, leaning over the injured girl. "I don't think there's anything broken. Let me help you up. My mum's got a bottle of water in her bag. We'll soon clean you up." She took hold of Nafisa's arm and helped her to her feet. Nafisa wobbled for a moment. She was still a bit dizzy. "Thanks," she said, staring hard at Nadia. "But I don't understand. Why did you come over and help me? I've been so horrible to you." "Well, it doesn't mean I have to be horrible back, does it?" said Nadia. "When someone needs help, you don't think about it. You just do it." "Well, thanks anyway," said Nafisa. "And I'm really sorry I've been so nasty to you. Maybe we could start again." "I'd like that," said Nadia with a smile. "Let's get you sorted out first, shall we?" Well, it was never judge a book by its. They were horrible, weren't they, to Nadia? They picked on the way that she looked, or perhaps the way she behaved in some way. But as we know, that's never the right way to treat anybody. And in the end, they found out just what a special person Nadia was. Very kind, very caring. And she obviously had a lot of trouble at home as well, which she was contending with. She was having to look after her mum, who wasn't very well. She was what we call a young carer, and that happens sometimes. People have to help look after parents because they're ill, and we should help those people. We should never be making fun. Always try and support. Always try and help. Always try and be a kind and good person. And also with bullying, what Nadia shouldn't have done was also suffered in silence. Have a think about all the people that she could have told about the horrible things that were happening to her. Have a think, who in that story could she have turned to for help with the bullying? Well, there was her mum, who she could have spoken to, and there was also Miss Begum. We didn't get to see who the head teacher's name was, but they would have been a good person to turn to as well. As we always remember, don't suffer, always tell. If you're worried about something, somebody's bothering you, or you know that something is going wrong and shouldn't be happening. So lots of lessons to be learnt from this morning's assembly. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Enjoy your home activities today. I know some of you are going to be having live lessons in Year 6. Enjoy them. And we'll hopefully, as I say, see you all soon. But as we always say, we'll finish with our school prayer. And you can put your hands together and eyes closed, or you can pray in whichever way you wish. But we'll always say it together. Un, dau, tri. This is our school. Let peace dwell here. Let the rooms be full of contentment. Let love abide here. love for one another, and love for life itself. Let our school be a lovely place where all of us are caring to each other, to work our best and show our smiling face, staff and children helping one another today and always. And lots of messages in there in the school prayer which link to today's story. Being kind, being caring, helping one another. Very, very important lessons for life, indeed. So enjoy today, and I shall see you all soon. But as we always say, over and